In China, women who stay single past the age of 27 are often called leftover women. This term may sound harsh, but it is used often in society, on TV, and even by some families. Many people believe that a woman who isn't married by a certain age has missed her chance. I got kicked out of the house again. I've realized that no matter how wholeheartedly I give myself to this family, it's useless. My parents only see me as a burden, a money-losing deal. They say a married daughter is like spilled water. But I'm not even married yet, and they're already trying to kick me out every day. I feel like I've lost more than I've gained. So I've decided to leave home. I won't stay here anymore. I want to break away from my original family. I don't know if things will get much better, but I hope so. Parents often worry that if their daughter does not marry soon, she will be alone forever. They fear that others will gossip and say the family failed to raise her well. In some cases, parents feel ashamed or even angry. Older single women are picky, but their mothers are even pickier. Even if you manage to pass the test of the older single woman, it's still hard to get past her mother's test. It's not that women from the past were better than now. It's just that they were born in the wrong era. Back then there weren't many choices. But if they had been born now, in today's society, I'm telling you, they'd be even pickier. A lot of people didn't get to fulfill their dreams when they were young, so now they put all their hopes on their daughters. Have you seen those matchmaking shows for seniors? Those aunties and grandmas are already in their 50s or 60s, and their demands are even more outrageous than those of young women today. So when you're dating or going on blind dates, if a girl says, "My parents don't agree," or "I have to listen to my mom," or "I need to get past my parents first," I'm telling you, walk away early. The moment you start getting involved, your whole family will end up owing her something. These women are not lazy or difficult. Many are highly educated, have good jobs, and live independently. They take care of themselves and contribute to society. But still, they are told they are too old to be attractive or good enough for marriage. I never thought that one day I would be driven out by my own family. Half of the pressure comes from society, and the other half truly comes entirely from my parents. I really feel like older unmarried women are being pushed out of their original families. I'm currently going through that myself. It's the first day of the Lunar New Year, and there's already been a big argument. I wasn't feeling well today, probably because I was bombarded with pressure yesterday. I didn't eat anything this morning and went straight to the hospital. Later my mom came to find me and we went shopping together. Things seemed peaceful for a bit. We strolled down a street calmly. Then she brought up the topic of marriage and getting engaged. I told her I'm not in a rush. But if I can't give them a clear answer that matches what they want, then they think something's wrong, that I'm wrong or it's not acceptable. And the moment I try to argue back, they say things like, "Can't you just listen for once? Can you let me finish talking? Can't you behave?" But when I do stay quiet and just listen, then it turns into, "Can't you say something? What's wrong with you?" I never imagined I'd also be kicked out by my own family. They're desperate to get me engaged and married as soon as possible. The funny part is, my boyfriend and I, neither of us wants to get married or engaged. The ones who want it are our parents. Honestly, I want to say to them, why don't you just arrange it yourselves? Put 2 mannequins on the stage and call it a day. Why is it that the people actually involved don't want to marry, but everyone else insists we should? Is it really necessary? And now I can't even enjoy shopping anymore. I fled like a chicken. What makes me really sad is that life isn't supposed to be this hard. I feel like half the pressure comes from society and the other half, truly, all comes from parents. I won't deny that they love us. But I also can't deny that every holiday, especially during New Year, they give us endless stress. I thought I could make it through this year. I followed all the survival tips online, thought I could withstand the bombardment, but no, I wasn't strong enough. I still couldn't handle their fire. What do I do now? Really, what do I do? Right now I'm just sitting alone on the side of the street. Lonely trees and lonely me. They've gone off shopping now, and I've been left behind by myself, not even knowing where to go. Let me tell you all, you really need to get married early. Because women like us, older leftover women, are honestly living such miserable lives. No household expenses, so the money we earn can only be spent on ourselves. When we're bored during our days off, all we can do is travel around. Just travel and travel. When our clothes get dirty, there's no one to wash them. No husband at home. No husband at all, so we just keep buying new ones, new clothes again and again. At night, we come home to an empty house. No husband to make dinner, so we have to go out to eat. A life like this. It's honestly heartbreaking. Life. The essence of parents pressuring their daughters to marry is actually a form of expulsion from the original family. They won't buy a house or a car for their daughter, yet they firmly believe that some man out there will. There's no dowry to be given, but bride price must be collected. On one hand, they say you're not getting any younger. On the other, they complain about losing face in the hometown. They coax and deceive you, all while swearing it's for your own good. Sister, don't let yourself be consumed by this kind of internal struggle, because truthfully they don't love you. To them, having children is more of an investment, especially daughters. They want to spend as little as possible and get the biggest return when they grow old. Once girls become adults, they're pushed out. But boys, after reaching adulthood, continue to receive support from the family. Some families won't even pay for their daughters' education, thinking that daughters will eventually belong to someone else. Yet the irony is that, after marriage, women are still considered outsiders in their husband's home. True love and marriage do exist, but for ordinary girls like us, it's a rare blessing, not something guaranteed. When parents urge you to marry, they say it's so someone can take care of you. But in reality, after marriage, it's you taking care of others. You go to work, raise kids, do housework, and are expected to be filial to your in-laws. Just look at the situation women are in. It's really this subtle and complex. Honestly, I don't have a perfect solution either. All I can do is cut ties, keep my distance, and avoid contact unless absolutely necessary. Only by realizing that our parents may not love us as much as we thought can we face life more calmly. This message is meant for women who are thinking about marrying late or not getting married at all. After I turned 30, I stopped visiting relatives. I haven't even visited my closest family members, like my uncles and aunts, since then. During Chinese New Year in 2023, my parents were planning to visit my uncles since my grandparents had passed away. So New Year was the only time they would go see them. On the second or third day of the New Year, we were all dressed and ready to leave. Just as we were about to head out, my dad suddenly said, "You don't need to go. Just stay home." My mom actually wanted me to go. She said, "It's New Year, there's nothing to do at home anyway, just let her come along." But my dad insisted, "No, she's staying home." At that moment, I felt like my self-esteem shattered into pieces, just because I'm not married. When they face judgment or questions from others, they don't know how to respond. Or maybe in those situations they feel ashamed, humiliated, or like they've lost face. Maybe they didn't mean to hurt me, but it truly did. A few days ago, I was chatting with a friend who's also unmarried at 35. During New Year, his family had a big gathering. His dad told him to stay home and help his sister take care of the kids. His first reaction was, "Oh, my dad probably doesn't want me at the gathering." But then he thought, "My dad loves me. He wouldn't think like that." And that reminded me of something that happened to me when I was 32 or 33. Because once you're over 30 and still unmarried, when your parents face pressure from others, they don't protect you. They don't shield you from the wind and rain. Their understanding is limited, and their first instinct isn't to defend you. It's to use your unmarried status as a reason to scold or blame you. To them, if you're grown and still single, you have little value. In their eyes, being an adult means having a family, a husband, in-laws, and children. That's what completes you. To them, you as an individual don't count as whole until you form a family. Once a woman is over 30 and still single, it really feels like you don't have a home. Even when you return to your own house, it doesn't feel like you belong there. Honestly, you don't feel any sense of belonging. Even when you're working outside, you feel like a dandelion drifting in the wind, completely rootless, with no sense of safety or stability. But for many parents, it doesn't matter if your life is hard, or if your husband is irresponsible. It doesn't matter what your husband is like. As long as he doesn't hit you, they think the marriage is acceptable. In their generation's eyes, as long as there's a family and no physical abuse, life is considered livable. So when they face pressure from others, they feel embarrassed because of you. They feel like you've made them lose face. That's why when I go back home now, no one brings up my marriage. It's like a silent agreement. Nobody talks about it because it only leads to unhappiness. Especially since I live in the countryside. When I go back to the village, I don't visit anyone. I don't even step outside my front door because I'm afraid someone will see me and ask my parents, "Hey, your daughter's back, what's the story?" Just so awkward. Everything I've said is from my own experience. I hope it resonates with someone and that it reminds you to start planning your future, especially your lifelong commitment, early on. If a woman is still unmarried at an older age, it only means she has lived too happily. It shows that her parents from her original family never forced her out, never kicked her out of the house. They let her stay, which means they truly loved her deeply. Otherwise, they would have married her off to any random man, just to get her out of the house. Once she's gone, the parents feel relieved. They feel like they've fulfilled their duty as parents. Whether their daughter ends up happy or not, whether the man she marries is any good, or even whether she gets abused, they don't care. Many parents don't really care how their daughter is doing. They only care about themselves. They care about saving face and whether their child is married. As long as she's married, that's all that matters to them. Who she marries or how she lives doesn't matter. Some people use the phrase, "women who don't get married will suffer when they're old," to scare women. But in reality, this is just men projecting their own inner fears. Just take a walk through a hospital and you'll see. Elderly men without a partner truly do suffer, with no one around to take care of them. But elderly women are often cared for by daughters or female friends. It's actually rare for an elderly woman to be cared for by a husband. Men are terrified of being left alone in old age without anyone to look after them, so they impose that fear onto women. In a male-dominated society, a man's social value usually revolves around profit and resources. If he's successful, he might receive praise in middle age. But once he grows old or faces a setback and is pushed out of the game, no one cares anymore. On the other hand, women's social lives are much more diverse. Even though patriarchal society tries to slander and divide female friendships, we still see groups of women shopping together, older women chatting and bonding in public squares, neighbors buying groceries and dancing together. This is the rich social world of women. Remember, no man is worth giving up your own circle of friends. The scare tactics aimed at single older women are just a way to pressure you into following the path they want for you. Why is it that older single men are ignored? 'Cause frankly, no one cares about them. A woman's later life does not depend on marriage. So the idea that not getting married will be miserable is nonsense when it comes to women. Girls, have you noticed that it's really hard for older single women in Sichuan and Chongqing, especially in Chengdu, to find a partner? Because not only are the women competing with you for men, even the men are competing with you for men. If you happen to find a guy who looks decent and seems like he'd be good for marriage, turns out he's gay. I'm not even kidding. After you've been through a whole round of blind dates, you realize that most of the guys left on the market are either not normal or simply can't get a wife. There's also this type of guy who's super into traditional manners and raising kids, but has a huge superiority complex. And then there's another type, basically old men who've been playing the game for ages like 1,000-year-old foxes. You can't outplay them. So sometimes I think if it's really this hard to find someone, maybe I should just give up. But then late at night when everything's quiet, I start thinking again. I see other families happy and loving and I want that too. I want to get married. But when it comes time to marry, and you can't find the right person, should you just settle? But if you do settle, you'll start asking yourself, why should I compromise? I've been living alone for so many years already. Why should I spend the rest of my life with someone I don't even like? It's really conflicting. Girls, have you ever felt this way? Sometimes I think I've figured it all out and tell myself, maybe I just won't get married. But I still feel like having a child is something I really want. What do you girls think? Isn't that true? Over the past few days, I've talked to many people and read a lot of information. The proportion of unmarried women over 30 is really high. But the reality is that in the matchmaking market, no matter how outstanding you are, just being over 30 is enough to make most men back off. I think this is something many women haven't figured out, whether they actually need marriage or not. My mom used to say that if I wasn't married by 26, she'd kick me out of the house. Of course, she was exaggerating, but it definitely planted a sense of urgency in my subconscious. I'm actually someone who is pretty goal-oriented. I like to plan, so I was very clear about it. I knew I needed marriage, so I acted before it was too late. When my husband once wanted to delay marriage until after 30, even though it was painful, I brought up the idea of breaking up. In the end, he gave in because of my determination. Now we've been together for 9 years. Some people might want to argue with me and say, "You're just lucky. What if you get divorced later? Why worry about so many what-ifs?" No matter the outcome, as long as it's your own decision and you have the courage and ability to take responsibility, it's fine. Who can guarantee they'll never divorce? Are you going to stop eating just because you're afraid of choking? The hardest thing in the world is people's mouths. Many people say, "If I can't find the right person, I just won't get married." But that's not the right mindset. You can say you don't want to get married or that you don't need marriage, and that's fine. But saying, "I won't get married unless I find the right one," that's just avoidance and passivity. If you've already decided that you want marriage, then put in more effort. Expand your network, meet more people. Eventually you'll find someone suitable. If someone doesn't like you, then improve yourself. Work out, learn makeup, read more books. Don't brainwash yourself or make excuses. If you keep dragging things year after year, you'll regret it. And to the parents watching this, if you need to push your kids, push them. Don't hold back just because you think they'll be upset. When they get older and can't find anyone, that's when they'll truly regret it. Of course, if someone has firmly decided they don't want to get married, then that should be respected. We need to allow different people and different voices to exist in this world.